Well, viewers, here we are again in contingency reviews because, well, things haven't quite planned out the way that I expected. This is a 2017 SsangYong Rexton W 2.2 SE with a forbidden fuel engine. I was supposed to be driving something else for no budget reviews, but that car appears to be unavailable, so instead we have this. So this car has very kindly been lent to the channel today by Dan from the Dan's Cars of the Country YouTube channel. It is a replacement for filming anyway for the car he was going to give me for no budget reviews. He very kindly let us drive the Vauxhall Vectra that you've probably seen on the channel already, and the other car that was going to be no budget reviews that is having some problems. So instead we are driving this, and I will try not to use a certain word because we don't talk about diesels on this channel. So the SsangYong Rexton W is a version of the Y200 original Rexton that came out in 2001. It was released in this country in 2003, and some people say it's based on the chassis of the old SsangYong Musso, the first SsangYong Musso from the 1990s. Some people say it's based on the chassis of the first generation Mercedes M-Class. I don't know. You'd have to tell me about that. It was originally called a Y200 when it came out in 2001, but there was a facelift in 2006, and it was then known as the Rexton 2. By 2013, SsangYong had put their own engines in it. There was a 2-litre forbidden fuel engine with 155 horsepower. This is actually a post mid-2015 car to 2017, so right at the end of the Rexton W production. It's actually got around 178 horsepower. It's actually very, very easy to go quite fast in this car, particularly with this 7-speed Mercedes automatic gearbox in it. Only the very late SEs actually had this automatic option. Most of them were manuals. Trim levels available in the Rexton W, which came in 2013, were SX, SE, EX, ELX, and then the 60th anniversary edition. SsangYong has been around for a very, very long time, and I think that was the 60th anniversary of the company that was introduced for. It's very, very easy to drive this car. You can tell it's got a ladder frame chassis. It's a bit like the old Shogun I used to have, actually, in that respect. But the engine's got so much torque that you can get up to some quite remarkable speeds without really noticing anything. Ride is just like a typical old four-wheel drive is. It's comfortable enough, but you don't really want to do too many sudden changes of direction or anything in this. So the petrol engine available in this car initially when it came out in 2001 was the 3.2 litre Mercedes-Benz engine generating 220 horsepower. We just checked the power outputs. The others, the forbidden fuel first one was a 2.9 litre engine with 118 horsepower, then a 2.7 later on with either 162 or 185 horsepower. That took the car up until 2013. Now, these cars are actually now eligible for sensible second-hand reviews, which is why I'm wearing my sensible jacket. You can buy an early 2-litre forbidden fuel Rexton W for under £5,000. A very high mileage one, but they are actually available. This one, it's a really late one. It's only done 40,000 miles. Although it's not the top of the range ELX, which has leather trim and automatic lights and things like that. It is still relatively valuable. I think you pay something like £11,000 to £12,000 for something like this. Just glides along nicely, really, and you know, I know it's very capable off-road. Dan and his lady wife, they actually do tow with this. It has got 4-wheel drive. It's got a proper selector here, which is in exactly the same position as a light switch on, it's like a Seat Toledo. So yeah, maybe that's not exactly the best place to put it for people not to be confused about what's going on. But yeah, well, why don't we just park up around the corner and we'll take a little look at this big piece of Korean engineering in more detail. So this being a very late first generation Rexton, you can see it has a badge on the side that confirms it has a forbidden fuel engine of 2.2 litres of capacity. It's very prominently displayed as a Rexton. You can see the trim level on it. SsangYong was one of the last manufacturers I know that actually put standard trim levels on their cars. I know it's not a, you know, sporty one or anything when that's more common, but that seems to be, you know, less and less common these days. The thing that gives it away as being a design of the early 2000s is things like this rear wiper, which doesn't quite look particularly modern. If you open up the boot, now you can get these with 7 seats, and this is a 7-seater, although the rear seats aren't really used for carrying children or anything. They're more likely to be used for sort of horsey things, and they're under there somewhere. I'm not actually going to fiddle around too much with that. That'll probably take a while. We can see in here though, we've got the pockets for putting stuff in, and rear seat belts, of course, for the third row. And this being a very late SE, you actually got parking sensors on it, and I think for a massive thing like this, that's probably quite a good idea. Also, very proud of the fact it's a SsangYong, because it says so in here. We've got a little pull here, we get the tailgate down. I've only got one hand today, so I'm going to have to do it like that. Other trims do come with a reversing camera, which you might want to consider. Also, the alloy wheels on this, they are alloys, but they're quite plain ones, and obviously if you live out and you're towing horse boxes and things, this is probably what you want. The huge sort of big kind of amount of tyre there. I've got the local wildlife also applauding my choice of car today. They are just 16-inch wheels, but the tyre profile is absolutely huge. 235, very big. Sorry, not that. Not in a minute. 75. Sorry, 75 is the one I wanted. Because I am silly. So look at the side of it, you can see it's very similar to the first one that came out in 2001. The sort of window line treatment is very similar, and you know, just looks at the sort of older style thing. But I think from the front it's particularly quite a handsome car. I think the facelift they did right at the end, and the fact we've got, I think we've actually got the LED daytime running lights in this car as well, which you can see. I think it does make it look quite handsome, and it does sort of lift it a bit. So we'll just get in the back. I'm sure that'll be incredibly easy in a car like this. Yes, it is. I better go over the other side because there's lots of horse blankets and things there. You can tell this is Dan's cars in the country, can't you? So yes, we'll just be a little bit careful. It's very upright, but the headroom is absolutely remarkable. It's what you'd expect in a car like this. And if we press this here, there we go, we've got some cup holders down there. One thing I would say is not all the fixtures and fittings in here feel particularly high quality. It's kind of like a mixture. The dashboard we'll get to a little bit later, which actually has some soft touch material, and the seats don't feel too bad, and this kind of tweed fabric looks quite hard wearing. It's very sort of old-fashioned 4x4, like you'd imagine something like a Isuzu Trooper or something like that would be, and that's great for this kind of thing. Do like the armrest, that's quite comfortable. And some nice door mat pockets, electric windows in the back, of course, and a big slot to put whatever you want to put in there. I suppose commission documents would fit nicely. And we've even got a light in the back for the rear passengers. So if I just clamp her out now, a nice door opening light as well. One thing I did notice about this car when I was going to drive it away is the mirrors don't fold automatically. You have to actually fold them yourself, which is nice. It's nice to have power folding mirrors, but when you lock the car, I think that should be really an option. This being an SE, it doesn't have the infamous Kenwood sat Nav Infotainment System in it, and so it actually, to my eyes, this doesn't look too bad. This sort of standard one. That chime is really old-fashioned, isn't it? That's amazing. We've actually got, if I just turn that on, I hope the ray doesn't come on. We've actually got how many bongs and bings and things are going to be? This is going to be annoying. Right, the dials light up quite nicely in here actually. I haven't actually turned the lights on, and that's what they look like, which is pretty nice. I like that. The radio looks nicely integrated into here, although that'll be the Kenwood system on the higher trims. And we've actually got climate control. It's not dual zone or anything. This is a later automatic one, so it's got the Mercedes-Benz 7G-tronic automatic gearbox. And behind there we've got aux in and USB ports. I believe this car also has hill descent control. That that clock really does give it away a bit, doesn't it? In terms of you know what era this car's from. See if we can get the secret mission documents into the glove box, which I'm not sure we can. You know, it doesn't look very big. It doesn't look very big at all, and that's just not. It's really small. It's really surprising for a car like this, and that's probably why the owner's manual is sitting in that side there. I'll try the side door bends, which is going to be a bit easier if I open that up. Very narrow pockets for some reason in this car. I don't quite know why that would be. Some later style SsangYong steering wheel, so that's why it's one of the later cars with a 2.2 engine, and they go just like that. So we just take those out, so don't hit Legos at the door. We've got this rather cheap feeling handbrake, which sort of belies some of these, you know, nice soft touch materials on the top, and this sort of redesigned area, which reminds me of the C200 Corando, which is the previous generation one. Yes, it's a bit of this inconsistency kind of here. The stalks feel okay. They feel a bit sort of older, but they're all right. Do actually have an automatic wiper setting in here as well. The lights aren't automatic, the wipers are though. And we've got a one-touch power driver's window and the folding mirrors. There we go. Actually, I might need to turn the car on to do that. Right, let's see if we can do that now. Yes. Finally, just wasn't pressing the button properly. Let's tap that off. Yes, it's not bad in here really. You know, I think the higher trims had slightly kind of nicer door cards and things than this, but it's really not bad. It's very comfortable in here, and it's very easy to get in and out. One thing I have noticed though, apart from it telling me if I've got the key in, is the fact the fog light switch I think is here for one of the fog lamps, whereas another fog lamp is up here. That's interesting. Right, let's take a look at the power plant. Before we do that, I've just noticed a potential problem, and this is something that's common with the MG ZS, actually, the current one. The bonnet release and the fuel flap release are right next to each other here, and you could probably easily accidentally pull the bonnet release when you just want to fill up with fuel. And also, there's that four-wheel drive mode selector, which looks like a headlight switch from you know, an old Seat Toledo or something like that. Just don't touch that. Don't touch that when you want to turn the lights on. It's very, very kind of sort of older four-wheel drive vehicle under here. Very reminiscent like I have Shogun. It's a longitudinally mounted engine as well, of course. Under bonnet mat, that's actually got hydraulic struts on it, which I wasn't expecting for one of these cars. Yes, it looks like there's plenty of room to work on the engine. I mean, this is designed for a 3.26 cylinder, so it can easily accommodate a 2.2 forbidden fuel engine. So, yes, I think these are a chain cam engine actually, these 2.2s. The earlier ones I'm not entirely sure, but that's just something less to worry about, I suppose. The one problem that Dan says he's had with this car is to do with the locking wheel hubs, which actually went wrong relatively recently and made a sort of nasty noise. Now, this car did come with a 5-year warranty. The current generation Rexton has a 7-year warranty, and so that was actually fixed quite recently by a SsangYong main agent, which obviously is quite handy. Right, let's go for another drive. I actually quite like driving this car. So here we are, going for another drive in the sunny Northamptonshire countryside. I do apologise if the mount is moving a bit. There's not an awful lot I can do about that, I'm afraid. Just come out of a junction in front of a Volvo 940 estate, and I can see how you could actually spin the back tyres on this quite easily and get it sideways. You'd have to watch yourself look round, wet roundabouts and things in this, and the steering's very, very easy to kind of over-correct itself and things like that. It's definitely like it's an older four-wheel drive in that case. So we'll just turn on the cruise control, and I think we might actually see if we can set that, see if that works for our journey back to return this to Dan. There we go, we are on cruise control, which is pretty nice. I like that. So you get this lovely driving position up here, and you know, you can see things like the wiper blades are actually heated in this particular car. You don't want to go too fast around the bends because you can really feel the weight of the car as it comes round. The steering is light enough, but you just don't want to overexert yourself on you know, even kind of modest bends really. But it does fill you with a sense of sort of confidence, and also the fact that, you know, you've got something which actually is as capable as maybe a Land Rover is, or at least your Discovery, but for a lot less money. This 7-speed Mercedes gearbox seems to be working relatively well, although it seems to be hunting for a gear on this hill for some reason. There is a manual mode, but I don't think I'm going to use it. Yes, it's amazing how sort of comfortable this is. It feels really, really comfortable. A green light just came on the car to show all four wheels. I didn't touch anything. I don't know why I did that. Who knows? Strange. But it's quite refined. The engine's very, very subdued when driving along, and it just has this sort of relaxed character to it. At 50 miles an hour, I am doing 1,250 RPM. It shows you how much torque we've actually got in this car. So yes, I'm happy I've actually managed to film a first generation Rexton. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while, and not quite managed it, but thanks to Dan I have. And this is the great thing about contingency reviews. You just never know exactly what's going to happen, because the whole point in you actually having done one is because you didn't expect to film the car. So yes, it's pretty wonderful really. Apologies about the lighting in here. Because the first generation Rexton was in production for such a long time, there were a lot of trim levels available in this country. So we've already covered the later ones with Rexton W, but for the original Rexton, the Y200 and the Y250 Rexton 2, There were E, EX, R-Line, S Family, Sport, S7, SE, S Family, SE Sport, SE7, SPR, SX and SX7. The car was actually made in more places than just South Korea, which I didn't realise until a couple of days ago. And it was actually assembled also in India, Malaysia, Russia and Sri Lanka. So they're a far more common sight on roads in sort of Asian markets than they would be over here. Anyway, let's try to draw some conclusions about the SsangYong Rexton W. So, viewers, should you consider a SsangYong Rexton W? Well, I haven't had a lot of time with this car. You know, I was going to film something else today, but this has come up and I've enjoyed it. The one problem I have is trying to find a petrol one of these. Is only on the first generation early cars, and yeah, most of these are forbidden fuel, so it's a bit hard to talk about them on the channel. But yes, they actually seem pretty sturdy for what they are. They do have one or two problems, but you know, not as many as, say, a Discovery would have, I think. And I've quite enjoyed driving this. It reminds me of my old Shogun, which is a very nice positive memory. So thank you for watching this episode of Contingency Reviews. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. Visit the social media links down below, and like this video and leave a comment. I don't know why I may have said that twice. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.